We've had enough of this. We can't do it anymore. Our country, we need our country for our people, first and foremost.
They're stopping my people from coming here to fucking defend their own country by saying you can't go there, you're going to do your fucking job. It isn't happening on my watch, brother.
The Irish people need to wake up. But these foreign guys coming in want to wake up.
I'm far from a racist, I'm far from a fascist. No, I'm just a concerned mother and grandmother.
I wouldn't go in there with two machetes unless I had two machetes and an AK-47. It's a fucking death trap for this going there.
All of our history is not our history. It's been rewritten. It's insane what's going on. We have to stand up and say enough is enough.
Fáilte go baile clear. You're very welcome to Dublin, Ireland. Today I'm going out to the IPAS Centre, that's International Protection, in Tallaght, an area in Dublin, to talk to some protesters. There ends up being about 10, 12 protesters during the time I was there, which is a pretty poor turnout. The question I have is, are these people racist, far right, etc., or are they just concerned parents or individuals? So I spoke to three people. One was homeless, one had been homeless. Very interesting dialogue between them. Now, considering the answers I'm getting, you have to take into account that these are the exact people that would be considered by the media far right, right wing, etc., because they are they're acting in a manner that you could use that phrase, because they're outside IPAS. But listen to the words they're saying. Listen to why they're there. Listen to if you can find any racism in what they're saying, because it's, in my mind, it's quite the opposite of that. Before we go on, the hate speech laws that we're worried about, we see what's happening in England. It's absolutely tragic. It makes me even more fearful that this will just sneak in. As we were told recently it was mentioned by Harris that the hate speech law they're not going forward with that. There is something already in place, thanks to a commenter for pointing this out to me. In 1989, already there is, in the Irish Statute book, there's something called Prohibition of Incitement to Hatred Act, 1989. In it, hate is described as, I could find no definition of the word hate. It has all the normal things that you would expect to be in there, But all it says about hatred is, what is hate? Hatred is hatred against a group or individual or ethnic. It doesn't say what hatred is. It says hatred is hatred towards. That's not defining hatred. That's not defining hatred at all. One of our basic human rights is our ability to disagree. That's what it is. It's our ability to go, I don't agree with that. This is what I think. If you can't have that ability, that's part of being human, is to be able to disagree with someone, to be able to say, well, I don't think about it that way. Have some to and fro, come to something between you, or just disagree, agree to disagree, or just maybe take on their point of view. I'll leave a link up here. Hopefully you have a read through it. I would like to say that there is nothing on this channel to incite violence or hatred. It's not, I'm a peaceful chap. It's not something I'd condone. I would look for results through peaceful means. And all of my efforts are just through a love of my country, and I am documenting a certain era in our history to show what Dublin is how Dublin is changing, and I believe it's not changing for the better. So on with the video. I hope you watch to the end. 3 individuals. I'll timestamp them all for you, and I'll get back to you at the end. Finish.
If someone says something to me, right, I take it on face value. At the same time, I'll always question it. I'll always question it. And if someone says to me, this is the right answer, I'll still question it. Why is it in their head that they think it's right? It's like certain things went down. I don't want to get into a big argument over it again. Certain things went down in Ireland where certain people went to certain places and something happened, right? It's f***ed up certain things out. It's all come back together now. What makes them people think in their head what they're thinking is right, than what that person there's thinking is right? So, do you understand? Do you know what I'm coming from?
Yeah.
What they done, they thought was right. in their own heart. They didn't do it to be malicious or nasty, or they're trying whatever they're trying to do is save our country, and that's all we want is our country back. Peace and safety. We're loved all over the world. You can go anywhere all over this world. Sorry for swearing. Go to an Eloise igloo anywhere and they'll tell you, point of Guinness orders, do you love us? Do you love us? And now we're trying to be portrayed as racist. I've got coloured friends. I hate saying the word black because if you say the word black, you're racist. But even the canals, I'll talk to anybody. I'll talk about who we are. We're all human beings. At the end of the day, we have to listen to people. There probably is people here legitimately here that needs help. Fair enough.
Yeah, definitely.
Pull up at the door and show me your bleeding duckies and I'll let you in. That's not a problem. But you try to speak to these men, they're very, very aggressive. Very, very aggressive. You can't even talk to the anymore. Very aggressive.
Well, what do you think of the being labelled, because it's just to keep us shut up, being labelled right-wing, racist, xenophobic? What do you think of that?
Well, as you said there, it's just to shut us up, right? And we all need to take the fucking chip off our shoulder and not to worry what anyone gives a fuck. And when we do, everybody will wake up. There's people I know that can't go to work, that go to work, right? That can't go to these protests because the boss is telling them, if you go there, you're going to get a fucking fine and you're going to get suspended. It's fucking wrong. They're stopping my people from coming here to fucking defend their own country by saying you can't go there, you're going to lose your fucking job. It isn't happening on my watch, brother. I'm telling you now. End of big deportation. We already have the camps built for them. Lock them in the fucking camps. Get the fucking boats. Get the ducks. Get everything ready for them. Fuck them out. Simple as that. I mean, what's happening there is, what's sickening is because I said I was in the UK. I've had Asian friends, black friends, right?
Same as that.
Russian, Polish, the lot. When I first come home, I met a girl in Tesco's, right, and she's from Poland. She's crying. And I'm saying, what are you crying for? She's afraid that she's going to be tarnished with the same brush as they all are, because she's been here 16 fucking years, man. We love people like that.
Here all the
and I
time.
give her a hug, so sweetie, that ain't going to happen to you. On my fucking heart, it won't. And this is what the government is doing. They're pushing it into where no one's going to know who is. And we're all going to start attacking each other for no fucking reason. This is all designed by them. They sent the refugees down to the canal. No one is going to cause fucking friction. No one is going to cause fucking shit. If they wanted, they could shut down borders like that. They could, like fucking that. End of. And when they say they have no passport, like Ryanair says, if I go on a fucking plane and scan my passport, you know what I mean, your barcode, you already have it. Just ring up wherever you come from. Have you got this fucking scanned passport? Do you have it? Listen, the government is bringing them in. It's end of. They're bringing them fucking here. There's no other way around it. No, listen, as I said, I'm like you, I'm neutral. I'm not a fucking foiling person. I left out in the past, right?
Same as that.
Same. I want to have a lovely, peaceful fucking life where I can go out with my girlfriend when I get one, right? And my child, my grandkids, anything. Peacefully. I daren't walk into that town centre. I wouldn't go in there with two machetes unless I had two machetes and an AK-47. It's a death trap for this going there.
In the city centre?
Absolutely. I was talking to a Romanian last week and he pulled out the biggest fucking blade. I put it on video. My country, this is a genocide and I'm causing it. I said, what the f*** are you on? What are we letting to our country? It's sad because there's an awful lot of shit going to go down.
Yeah.
100%.
Definitely 100%.
Yeah. But as I said before, listen to this. Everybody stick to your own communities. But I know it's going to be hard because there is communities out there that only have, like, that was a Dundrum where they had 200 and we fed it by 400. We'll get resources down there, but people need to start pulling together. Coach firms, any firms at all, cars, drives, let's all pull together and get all this fucking sorted out, because these animals are 25,000 steps ahead of you people, and the only step you have on them is TikTok, and they're watching it. Everything you are saying, it's always grab me camera. I don't want TikTok now, I couldn't give a ball, I've been banned so many times. I don't take money off now, I don't want fuck all off now, but that's what's had to happen. They'll have to put the little pound dollar sign on the TikTok and all these jokes and all that, and all gone down the scamming over. Sick. That money should be going straight to the community. If the community needs people down there, we'll get the resources down. Most people are travelling by bus. And that's why there's not as many people here. And then the other half that can't come here is the f***ing bosses who's telling them, you better not be going there, you're getting blah, blah, blah. But they'll all pay. They'll all f***ing pay.
Tell us what you think of the immigration situation at the moment.
Well, I'll be honest with you, Colin, it's disgraceful what's going on. We've been hijacked by a government that is not an Irish government by any means. All of these people are all traitors. They're in Dáil Éireann. They're trying to Islamicise our country to create disharmony among our people. To my mind, what they want to do is they want to clear Gaza. So if they send all the Islamists over here, as many as they can, the fighting men, and create a war here, they'll change our opinions. Then we'll let them go ahead and slaughter all they want in the Middle East. These Islamic guys will want to wake up themselves. We need to wake up. The Irish people need to wake up. But these foreign guys coming in want to wake up. Why are they being deported or being encouraged to leave their own countries? Fighting men. Mr. Trump even said it. His son-in-law said it. This is the most valuable real estate on the planet. If they can clear it out.
A profitable commodity.
A profitable commodity. We've been run by this cabal since the foundation of the state. People don't realise it.
So before all this immigration pattern started over the last few years, what were your thoughts on immigration in general to Ireland?
I had no problem in the world. We had a gang of African lads back in Spiddle one time learning how to speak Irish. We were teaching them how to thatch roofs. So they could thatch the roofs back in their own village.
You're joking.
And they stayed for 9 months. And them boys had better Irish leaving than you or I had ever had. And they were lovely people.
Right.
And I have no problem with genuine refugees. No problem in the world. I mean,
None of us do it.
I'm not seeing anyone coming in, maimed or, starved, I see them coming in with Nike runners. They have better clothes than I can afford.
Better phones.
Yes, and I say, according to what I'm told, now all they have to do is go into the welfare office and say, I need a grant for a car to go to work. Now, I'm not sure what the truth of that is.
Yeah, I don't either. I don't know about that.
But a man said it to me the other day that he was in the actual Dole office, and he said he heard a fella beside him asking for a form for a grant for a car to go to work, and he was non-national. So I mean, what's going on?
Exactly.
What's going on? Our own people, we can't get a hospital bed for our children. Why? We're supposed to be the richest country in the world according to the stats they have on Google. We're one of the richest according to the stats, and yet we have hospital beds, wards in hospitals, whole units closed because they'll tell you they're understaffed, they haven't the staff. Where's all the doctors and nurses they were bringing in I don't see them in the hospitals. All the people that are in here that are doctors and nurses and specialists, and yet we're supposed to take all this. All of our history is not our history. It's been rewritten. We've been taught to follow a line. We've been made monkeys out of since the foundation of the state. All of these families, where are these families, these political dynasties? Look into them. See where they came from. Check it here in Dublin. You see, I was taught proper history at school when I was a child. I was one of the last of those taught in the old style. The Irish people were the loveliest people in the world. We are. But for centuries they've tried to destroy us. We had a beautiful language. Our language originally only had 13 letters, same as Latin. There was a reason for that. The reason was you couldn't lie. There weren't enough words for lies in it. You couldn't manipulate a word. Every word had a solid meaning, which couldn't be changed. Couldn't be changed. Also,
That's interesting.
Also, they added letters to it. I think it was 19 they made it up to then. I don't know if it's 21 now or what, but I think they made it up to 19 then, to accommodate certain people who moved into our country because their names could not be translated into Irish. At the end of the day, it's the Irish taxpayer who will foot the bill eventually. All this false money that's coming in through Google, it's not our money. The government might tell you so, that we're the richest country in the world. A certain few people are, but the rest of us
aren't.
If you only look at the cost of living, even yesterday I went into a shop to get a piece of meat I got last week, which was £7 last week, was £9 this week. Tin of beans had gone up 3 cents an Aldi, stuff like
Food's
that.
gone through the roof.
Food is going crazy.
Yeah.
And why? Why is all this happening? It's insane what's going on. We have to stand up and say enough is enough. For too long we've been putting up with this. We're being ran down for centuries. Time for the Irish people to stand up for themselves.
In what way?
To get this government out. We have to protest, let them know that we're not going to put up with it. And when it comes to election time, we have to elect proper nationalist politicians. Don't mind these fellas that are living out in Europe and living elsewhere and coming in here and saying, I'm an Irish nationalist. If you don't live here and your permanent full-time residence is not here, do not come here looking for a vote. Simple as that. And we've had enough of educated classes running our country.
The posh boys, as some people would call them.
Well, I don't care whether they're posh or not.
No,
They've all been educated, you see, in this system, this invented system, which means that they can say 2 and 2, they can add 2 and 2 and make 116 or 116 million if they like.
Falsify everything.
Yes, I want people who don't know how to make 2 and 2 make 116 million point 5. I want the fella who knows how to add 2 and 2 and say this is 4.
Honesty as well.
Honesty.
Yeah.
This is what I'm saying. The fella who can tell you it's 2 and 2 is 4, that's the fella, the honest man. We've had too much crooked, unbelievable. This country was supposed to be the most corrupt, one of the most corrupt in the world back in the 80s. It wasn't a patch on what it is now.
Not a patch on what's happening these days.
Yes. We've had enough of this. We can't do it anymore. Our country, we need our country for our people, first and foremost. And then we can think about what's left over. We can think about bringing in people who are in need. Well, sort our own stuff out first.
Well, in particular with the 14,000 of our own homeless, 4,000 of which are children, while they're not housed, and then the hidden homeless as well, even more. And while they're not housed and everyone else is, that's what gets me. That really gets to me, that can happen. And the children will be suffering mentally.
I was homeless myself, Colin, so I'm sorry to interrupt you.
You're all right.
Forgive me.
Don't be sorry at all.
I was homeless myself. I was made so by a landlord who had been neglectful, to say the least, in his duties to keep the place properly. I was getting carbon monoxide poisoning for nearly 3 years, and I didn't know what it was. I was getting fits at night, and when I went into Galway City Council on numerous occasions, and they put me on a HAP scheme, I was supposed to get an inspection of the property within 12 months of going on not a HAP scheme, the rent allowance scheme. I never, ever got an inspection. I went in to request one, and I was more or less told it'd be to go away. And on a few times I was told I was being disruptive and argumentative, and I was upsetting the staff, which I wasn't doing. Or maybe if I was, I certainly wasn't meaning any harm by it, but I was driven demented. I couldn't sleep. My doctor had me diagnosed with total body arthritis because of the state of my joints from all the fits I was getting at night. Eventually I got an engineer out myself to look at the property, and he told me, get out of here, he said. A roofer came then afterwards, and he said, if you stay here, he said, you will die. Thankfully, a family member of mine was kind enough to build an extension on his house for me to move into, and I'm renting that since off him. And I tell you what, after being on the housing list since 1986, I think it was originally, and being removed from it on many occasions because I didn't get a letter or something from them.
More nonsense.
And I just gave up. I don't even bother trying to. I don't even go into them anymore to see where I am on the housing list. I'm not bothered.
Yeah, up your man got a fiver up there. I'd probably got him selling them. I was like, if you got...
Tell us what you think about the asylum seeker situation. We're sat outside an IPAS at the moment. What are your thoughts?
Originally, I didn't mind the women and children coming in, thinking that they were fleeing a war or whatever, but it's ridiculous now, the amount of single males that are going in there. It's absolutely ridiculous. And when you stop and think of the amount of Irish families that are living on the streets, they're either sofa surfing or they're living in their cars, and they have children too, and they can't keep down a roof over their heads. It's absolutely ridiculous.
14,000.
14,000, yeah, and that's men, women and children.
4,000 of them are children.
Yeah. And I mean, some of them children are very sick, and they're trying to tell us that the kids in here outside St. John's, the kids are in there are for hospital treatment. What about our children that need hospital treatment? What about the thousands of kids that have scoliosis that are crying in pain 24/7 and they can't get hospital treatment? It's ridiculous. They've money for this, but they haven't got money for our own. Nah, doesn't wash with me anymore.
It's a bit much.
Yeah, it doesn't wash with me anymore. It's ridiculous.
So what did you think of it before the last, we'll say, year or two when it became so crazy?
I never really liked it, but like originally we were told that it was Ukraine's fleeing the war, but when I started looking into it, like Ukraine is a very big place.
Huge.
And half the people that are coming over here are nowhere near where the war is.
9 times bigger than Ireland, they say.
And they're nowhere near where the war is, so what are they coming over here for? And all these modular homes that they're building for them, they can pack up and bring them back to Ukraine with them. And they can't do that for Irish citizens that are homeless. Nah.
But what did you think of it before Ukraine again? Just when it was people coming in, just...
Well, I mean, like, when I was around in my late teens, the boat people were coming over and we'd no problems with that.
Which boat people now?
The Vietnamese coming over, and they walked. You know, when they're off, they're walking, like, they're not out scrounging or anything. You know, I've never had any problems. I have friends that are from all different race, creeds, and all different religions. I've no problem with anyone. It's just all this bullshit that the government is giving us lately. They're not fleeing no war. They're not fleeing no war.
No.
They're fighting age. They should be at home. If they are from a war-torn country, they should be at home protecting their women and children. So if they're over here because they're fleeing a war, what's happening to their women and children?
Exactly.
What's happening to their mothers, their sisters,
Exactly.
their grandparents? No,
It would generally be the women and children go somewhere safe and the men fight.
Yeah, exactly.
It doesn't make sense, does it?
No, it doesn't.
What do you think of the way the mainstream media now are putting everything like this? We will just be labelled right-wing, racist.
Far right.
Far right and racist.
Yeah,
now, what's your thought?
Far right, we're racist. We're Nazis. We're fascists.
Xenophobic.
Yeah, we're fascists. No, if you want to know me, come talk to me. I'm far from a racist. I'm far from a fascist. No, I'm just a concerned mother and grandmother who's concerned for my children, concerned for my grandchildren, and for my future great-grandchildren, and what they're going to be brought up into. This is ridiculous. It's gone beyond a joke. There was a girl from South Africa, and she was a lovely, lovely girl. I helped her give birth to her baby. Yeah. And she wasn't white. So I mean, if I'm that racist, why did I fly up to the hospital in Hull when I found out she was in on her own in labour and help her give birth?
So we're not racist, are we?
No, we're not.
I think we're a very compassionate and loving country.
Come here. We're not racist against anyone. We're just happy-go-lucky people.
This is it, isn't it?
Yeah, it's, we live and let live, but don't take me for a fool and don't take what should be mine.
And don't label us something that we are not.
No, we're not, exactly. 60 years of age, I'm homeless. It's not on. It's not on. You get the likes of these being given houses and homes.
You're homeless now?
I'm homeless, yeah.
Homeless as in?
Homeless as in I have no home.
But I mean, are you staying with family?
Relatives, yeah.
You're not in hostels?
No. My husband wouldn't bring me to a hospital. He wouldn't let me into one. He wouldn't let me into one.
I don't blame him.
Yeah.
He's right.
The amount of medication that I'm on as well, he said, is like I'd have to be lumping it around everywhere. So no.
So I think you'd agree. There's no one on this video that's right wing or racist. Everyone spoke about it. It includes myself, about having friends and associates and helping out other ethnic peoples. None of us at all. So why do they keep labelling everyone far right and racist? And it's the mainstream media is promoting this, that anyone who does anything other than the norm or thinks other than the norm of what we're supposed to think is right wing. It's just nonsense. And until people stop, as was mentioned in the video by one of the interviewees, until we stop listening to this nonsense, people are scared to go to rallies and demonstrations because they don't want to be seen to be right-wing. You know, it's once you start seeing a group of people carrying Irish flags, it's like, oh, the right wing. You know, so you're scared to be seen demonstrating with these people because they are seen as right-wing. So it's a catch-22. You can't join them because you're scared of being right-wing. It just doesn't pan out. You have to put all these thoughts behind you about right-wing fascists, because that's being thrown at us as a tool to manipulate us and in turn not show you the facts of what's going on in Ireland at the moment, which is outrageous. But as soon as you point anything out about it, you are right, racist, right-wing, etc., etc., etc. It's just nonsense. We have to get past this if we are to progress in any way whatsoever.